myself when he was like 17, 18, and 19.
Okay.
Got it? That's it, right? I mean, she does
Top.
most of the half song this year.
Yeah, I got that. Strange.
Yes.
Yeah,
And he.
I'm gonna run next door and grab something to
Walked
eat.
in the door.
Henry, there's an opening act different from the last time. You might like this. It's a guy and woman with like poet genie. You like him? Beautiful poet. He's very good. Did you eat? I think I'll wait.
Okay.
I like the pews. It's cool.
Okay, yeah, TV has an illusion of tiny gap. Oh, no, just closer to each other so we need to be. You remember how to focus the camera? Okay, rumor has it that you're a pretty articulate human being, so feel free to go on any tangent that you want to, okay?
I'm anything but stupid.
Good. That's real good. Are you ready? Close? You got it? Yeah, this is what we like. This will cut it. Okay. All right. Now, this is for a music video program.
All right.
So we're going to talk largely about music. Fine. Not exclusively about. Okay. Remarks. Hi, and this is Bob from Teletracks. Sitting with me is Henry Rollins, the lead singer of Black Flag. He's also a journalist and a poet of sort, though I think he'll change that word for us. I want to welcome you to Albuquerque, Henry.
Oh, thanks.
All right. I have a question. How instrumental was Black Flag in starting the initial punk movement in L.A. way back when?
Well, the punk rock thing went down in Hollywood, California, and we lived in the suburbs, and none of those bands wanted Black Flag to play with them because Black Flag had hair down to their shoulders, and we were not welcome in that scene, and so I don't think it was very instrumental at all. I mean, Black Flag played with other South Bay bands in the suburbs. We rarely went to Hollywood. We were not welcome there by the Hollywood bands.
You're often called an L.A. band, though, so how did you get that?
Well, yeah, because we're from California, Southern California. We live near L.A., so, yeah, you get that, sure. But the Blasters are called an L.A. band. They live way out in Oxnard, so what? And I never considered what we do as punk rock. I mean, I never thought we were a punk rock band. I mean, the Black Flag's main influences is stuff like Grateful Dead, Black Sabbath, Stooges, MC5, Deep Purple, you know, not the Sex Pistols.
Okay. What is happening now with the punk movement?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't concern myself with movements, or I don't align myself with anybody's anything, you know. I got no time for that.
What do you concern yourself with?
Me and my music and myself. I mean, I'm not into some kind of movement because that's some kind of structured system, and I might not agree with everything there, so why would I want to align myself with a bunch of people who I might not like? I'm into individuality, you know, and that is a bad thing when you really get down to it. If you really want to be a free individual, you will see how hard it is to do it. You will run up to a lot of violent and oppressive resistance. I think Albert Einstein had a quote, "Great spirits have always met violent resistance from ordinary minds," something like that, something very close to that, but it rings very, very true.
So you put yourself in not the same league, but the same mode of thinking as Albert?
No, I just say, I'm me, Black Flag is a band, don't tell me what I am. I don't want to be one of these books on a shelf, you know? I just want to be a band, I just want to be a person and play. And when someone puts a label on you, that's a real drag. That's a cop-out. That's not going the full distance in trying to find out. I mean, do you have friends or do you have kind of friends? Do you have sex or do you have kind of sex? Is it a certain kind or just something that makes you feel good? You got to go all the way. I have to. I cannot be satisfied with some kind of halfway thing anymore, you know. Life's too short to cop out.
Okay, today there seems to be, it's a very bad trend. You spoke a lot about it. There's a need to classify everything. And if you had to classify Black Flag's music, how would you classify it?
Black Flag music.
Just Black Flag music?
Yeah. How much farther would you want to go? It's the band. If you like it, you go to the show, you check it out. If you don't, you do something else.
Okay.
If you like it, then it's good music. That's how we classify ourselves. Good.
Okay. Do you think a time will come when music like Black Flags will be more widely accepted than it is today and maybe dominate the airwaves?
No. No, I mean, you see what gets on radio now. You see what appeals to the masses. It's very plastic, inhuman, distant, cold music. I mean, there's nothing human about Duran Duran. You know, it's very isolating music to me. It's real depressing. And it appeals to people who don't want to listen too hard, you know. And so that kind of stuff will always be happening. You know, that'll always be the most popular thing. There's no home for a band like Black Flag, you know. We can't even get any band to open for us except for SST bands. We can hardly get bands who want us to open for them. Like, no band wants Black Flag to go on before them. No one wants to follow us at a show. No one.
Do you know the reason for this right off?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they're just uncomfortable about doing something like that. I don't know, and I don't take much time to think about it. All I got to do is just get to the show on time and play hard, you know, and play for me, and that's what I'm mainly concerned with. I don't have time for someone else's trip, you know. So many people sell themselves down the river with their music. They get in bands for motives other than music: sex, money, drugs, fame. And there's very few bands that play to play. And one of the bands that plays music for the simple joy of playing music is like the band like the Grateful Dead, who I saw last Sunday, and I thought they're brilliant. I've never seen a band that breathed while they played like that, you know. I just thought it was just so nice to see someone play. Like last week I saw John Lee Hooker, this blues cat. I saw him play just himself and his guitar, and it was just really cool just to see him just doing his thing, sitting in a folding chair just playing. And then you think of all these other bands who just come on so heavy with their outfits and everything, and their pose is just so transparent and silly, you know. I just go like, yeah, okay, you know. And it's cool. I wish them all the luck in the world, you know. I just go off and do my own thing. I don't have time to cut anybody down, you know. If you got time to cut someone else down, then you're not busy enough doing your own thing.
So it doesn't really depress you that Black Flag's music may never be heard by as many people as would hear Journey's music?
Oh, I'd like to get heard by as many people as possible. I mean, I think we should be filling up stadiums, you know. That's just me. You're asking one of the members of the band, you know. But, no, it doesn't depress me. I mean, I get off it at practice just as hard as I do when we play in front of people. The thing is to play. That's the good thing. How many people come up and pat you on the back and say you're good, that's nothing. You gotta get into the playing, you know. That's how a band's gonna stay around for 10 or 20 years. They don't do that because of people liking them. I mean, and they might do that if there's good money involved. Like, I can definitely see Journey or like a band like Led Zeppelin just going out there, playing the hits, playing right into people's hands, making good, predictable albums. You know, the song remains the same. All that stuff, because it's good money. And it's a good employment. It sure beats working 9 to 5 behind a desk. But for me, you know, I just like the playing. If 20 people show up, if 2,000 people show up, it's all the same to me.
Okay, I'm going to wipe my brow and edit this part out. What is your opinion of the recent heavy metal craze of the last couple of years?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know much about those bands. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? I mean, if their bands are playing and people are going to go see them, fine.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question about...
Some of those bands look a little silly in their outfits. I mean, if you really wanted to be hard about it, you should get up in all those silly clothes and then go down to East L.A. and see how long you last. You know, dress in your Motley Crue outfit, you know, and scream your lyrics, and then go down to East L.A. where the real hard people live. And then see how hard you are and see how bad you are. Or go down to, like, Miami. Go, you know, the Keys are where all the white people have been pushed. Go to the real Miami, sundown, with your black leather pants and your attitude, and your Highway to Hell thing or whatever you're into, and see how long your body remains intact, you know? That to me is some real hard, real stuff, you know.
Have you ever heard of a San Francisco band called Metallica?
Sure, yeah. One time we played New York last year, and they were all up front, you know, like...
Do you like Metallica's music, or have you ever heard it?
I've heard like one thing on the radio. It didn't do much for me.
I'm going to ask you a question about a man who right now some would argue is the most popular person in rock and roll, and what is your opinion of Bruce Springsteen?
I really dislike that guy. I think he's a very good businessman, good scammer. He is taking advantage of a country that just is really unsure of itself. I mean, you know, what's the difference between, like, you know, pumping your fist to Born in the USA and going like this to Deutschland über alles? What's the same? It's this bogus nationalism with a good rock beat, you know? And he offers no solutions with his songs. He just talks about this Sears and Roebuck guy, you know, the guy who works at the gas station who hates his life, and he inspires that person to revel in his garbage surroundings. He's like, yeah, you know, you're going nowhere, you're nobody, well, right on. And I'm not into, like, keeping someone in the trench, you know? If you're living in a heap of garbage, don't go, yeah, I'm bad, get out of there, you know? And I think his stuff is very depressing and very nowhere, and it just amazes me why someone just doesn't go up and, like, slap him. You know, you pompous, pretentious nobody. He should be driving my truck for me. He should be loading in my PA. I think U2, Bruce Springsteen. I mean, how can people buy that crap? I mean, how can people believe that kind of thing? That's just me, though. You'll find several million people who disagree with me. Like about 70,000 a night who fill a stadium who would beat the hell out of me for saying, fake, creep, you know. But that's me, you know. A lot of people disagree with me, but that's all right. I'm not here on this earth for everyone to love me. That's all right. I love me. That's cool.
Okay, well put. At times you've been compared to Jim Morrison, and I'd like to know how you respond or react to that.
I've gotten a little bit bored of the Morrison comparisons. I'd like to get more into I'd like some more like Cyndi Lauper, Adolf Eichmann, Adolf Hitler comparisons. That would kind of stir things up a little. Every once in a while I get compared to Henry Miller, and that makes my day. That's really cool. But you know, Jim Morrison, no, I don't. I'm not a drunk, so I can't pull that one off too good. My leather pants kind of a little worn out. My pointed boots are kind of got rounded off. I don't know. I mean, I got all the Doors records. They're a grand band, you know. They're great, but I don't see the similarities. I mean, I've seen films of the man. He just kind of stands there and pouts, you know. And I kind of move around and pout, you know. I don't know, but I get that a lot. Maybe it's the dark hair. Maybe it's the fact that he was very rich and I'm not. Oh, that's not a very good point, is it?
Would you comment for us on the phenomenal success of video music? Give us your opinion on the whole MTV thing.
I think MTV's real cool. I mean, if you think about what it is without really looking into it, it's really cool. Like televised audio-visual music that gets put in front of millions of people. That's great communication. I mean, what if you could turn the TV on and see Husker Du or the Minutemen or Bob Dylan or Jimi Hendrix, you know, something that really moved, you know? What if that would be really great. And so as a medium for communication, which is what I'm totally into, that is really great, you know? MTV's really neat. Unfortunately, like anything that's that big, it's totally motivated by money. And so what you have on there is a lot of money music, a band that can put $50,000 into a video. And so you get a lot of stuff that sells a lot of pretty women fronting some very cold synthesizer music. And that's a drag. But, you know, things might change, and I'm on there every once in a while. I'm on there once a month reading on the Cutting Edge show. And that's kind of neat, get in front of like 17 million people and infect them a little.
Well, I do want to point out that down at our station at Teletracks, we play Husker Du and the Minutemen and you as well.
I'd love
So
to be on MTV every day, I'm not into selling myself short. I'd like to go the entire distance. I'd like to be on the cover of Cream every month. Or at least once a year. I always walk into 7-Eleven and look, see, maybe it's this month. Oh, nope, David Lee again. What a drag. Well, my hair might get 6 more inches longer. You never know.
Okay, so you probably do believe that there are bands on MTV who only made it because of MTV.
I don't want to say that. That's generalizing. But there is definitely a few bands that are MTV inspired and MTV created. I mean, look at these bands. Look at Madonna, who I think is really cool. I think she's great. Because her effort was very concentrated. She worked very hard to get where she is. But that girl sold 3 or 4 million records before she played live because of MTV. That's amazing, That's really incredible. The Stray Cats is another great example. They really got popular in this country through MTV, through their, they had some cool videos that, that did their thing. And then they did this big old tour, and they tried to play the Long Beach Arena in L.A. That's 18,000 people. And they sold like 5,000 tickets because it was like a 3-week big deal on MTV, rah, Stray Cats, and then when it really came down, they couldn't handle that size of a place, and they had to cancel and go to this little tiny place, the Palladium, that holds like 6,000. That's where we played last year. And that's also the thing. You're up, and then you're down, and that's why I'm not into any of that. I just want to keep going. Like a band like the Grateful Dead. I draw a lot of parallels between ourselves and them. Like 15 years from today, I want to be playing in Black Flag. I do. I want to be making records and pushing myself artistically and musically, physically. That's a band that never bought in. They just went for their own dream. Like Hendrix. The guy never bought in. He did his thing. Unfortunately, he died too early, But he had vision, and he did his thing and never looked to either side. Straight ahead, And I think that's righteous. You got to be able to look at yourself in the mirror. Some people don't. Some people can live with being fake. They can, if the paycheck is good enough, they can sell themselves out. I can't do that. And you will meet a lot of resistance for not being fake. If you're really into freedom, like music, like with Black Flag, every album is a different thing. Our new album came out yesterday. That thing sounds nothing like anything we've ever done. And the next one is an instrumental album. And I'm sure there'll be lots of people going, eh. But they've done that with every release, And we just go, yeah, fine, go home, Just go home, put on your other record that you want to hear, and just don't come to the show. Save yourself some money. Buy a Quaalude or whatever you're into.
So you wouldn't be likely to to stand your hair up on end and wear mascara and leather pants if someone offered you the platinum album on the spot?
No, but if I felt like doing that, I just might do it. But sure, I couldn't do anything for the promise of money or the promise of success. I mean, if success comes to me and to my band, that's fine. Otherwise, as long as I can play next to Greg Ginn every night and play till my brains fall out on the floor, then I'm satisfied. See, I don't take any orders. No one tells me what to put on my record. No one tells me what to write. No one tells me how to play it. No one tells me what to wear. No record company tells me anything except have a good tour. SST goes, well, good luck, you guys. Call every week to get your interview list. You can't do that on Elektra. But I got nothing against big labels. They got good promotion and stuff. But we put out I guess this is our 5th album in like 15 months. You can't do that on... Prince couldn't do that on Warner Brothers. They just would go, no. We can't do that. It's not a good marketing scam. Obviously, we're not very good at our marketing thing. Otherwise, we would be putting out a record every few months, Puts us in the poorhouse, but we're having a good time.
Speaking of a good time, I saw your band on a movie called The Decline and Fall of Western Civilization, and it looked like all the bands in that are having a good time. You want to comment on it?
Oh, I saw it once. I had to leave early because all these girls started mobbing me inside the theater, so I didn't get to see the whole thing. But I like the X footage and the Germs footage because I never got to see those bands that long ago. I don't know. It's just one of those movies that are pretty fake. Someone trying to bring out some kind of thing that's not there. I know Penelope. She's a nice girl, but she doesn't consider like punk rockers humans, and I guess a lot of punk rockers don't want to be considered human, And when you remind them that they are, they get really bummed out. You'll cut your hair. I go like, hey man, I'm just like you. You can't tell me to cut my hair because I'll say beep. You can't say that kind of stuff on TV. You know what I'm talking about. But you weren't born yesterday. You know what I had in mind.
Okay. For lack of a better word, I'll use poetry for now, and you can change it when we get to it. Do you think that your poetry reflects many of the same messages that Black Flag's music does?
Well, I don't write any poetry. Never did. I don't even consider myself a writer. But Black Flag, as a concept, as an idea, is a real, directed, forward-moving thing that nothing can stop. Not snow. The only thing that can stop us at this point is bullets, I guess, or a plane crash or something. But yeah, I mean, I think we're a very optimistic organization, very positive and forward-moving. And even though a lot of my stuff that you might read or hear me do does not seem like that on the outset, it is to me on account of the only way to get to the other side is to, if you want to get to Beverly Hills from Orange County, you have to cross through Watts, okay? So you got to go through the land of darkness to get to the land of the eternal sun. So I'm into plunging into that dream to purge myself of it. Sticking your head into the lion's mouth or something. And I think that's very positive.
Okay, so it's safe to assume from all this that you've just said that Black Flag will be around for some time to come in some form.
Yeah, we're like cancer. We don't go away, Yeah, what else are we going to do? What else am I going to do? Work at Sears? You got to be out of your mind. If I wasn't in a band, I'd be making bombs, finding really cool ways to kill cops and get away with it, I work all summer, get my meager pay from the band, and I buy myself a shiny new gun at the end of every tour. And I pick off a few policemen, and by golly, they take my gun away, and they take my bullets away. And I just talked to Iris, that's my mom, she's really cool. She bagged her first cop last week, and she's like 53 years old, and she's a real cool gal. And I killed my first cop when I was 14. And, she's starting a little late in life, but she said it felt really good, And so, I told her, hey, that's cool, Mom. You're starting late, but, you can get into it. So her and her husband, unless they go out on the weekends now. But that's what I'm hoping to get from this tour. I want a shiny new gun.
What's the name of your new album, Henry?
Shiny New Gun.
It figures, and you heard it first here on Teletracks. Thank you very much, Henry.
I'm lying about the title, but that'll just make you have to search harder for it.
Bye-bye.